This video is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
I think the competition between the guys that they have could be really good. I mean, there's a lot of talent there. Ian Anderson, come on. The guy pitched in the World Series only a few years ago. He of course, got hurt after that, and he's made great strides in his, potentially coming back last year. Never made it back to the majors, but he's made those strides. I think that is still certainly in play and certainly a factor that the Braves are looking at and determining how much of getting another starter is necessary. Hurston Waldrop, who at one time was just as good or just as prolific in the minors as Spencer Schwellenbach, never really fell off. I believe he got hurt last year, but he still got talent. That doesn't just go away. I think he could maybe come into his own in 2025. Dylan Dodd, who has never really found his footing in the majors, still has had his bright spots over the years. I remember back in spring training of 2023, it was him and Jared Schuster competing for the fifth spot in the rotation. I remember that well. He could be a fill-in type of starter if you have that in-and-out process of trying to find the guy. He could be a fill-in starter here and there. He may find his footing and give you, a couple of months in the rotation until Strider comes back. That is a possibility I see in his future. Bryce Elder, the guy was an all-star in 2023. I think he was gassed by the all-star break, but, they don't just give away the all-star game awards. They don't just give all-stars out. You have to earn those, and make no mistake, he earned it the first half of that season. I think he was taxed by the end of the season, but this is a guy who you got to imagine has grown over the past year, and there's nothing wrong with putting some faith in him, and I'm interested to see if he can have a year where he's 100% on all the way through October.
In 2025, we're hammering down high prices at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. New Chevy Silverado 4x4 Crew Cabs, discounted up to $12,000 off. Brand new 2025 Chevy Equinox, the compact SUV with high-tech features, discounted up to $5,000 off. Enjoy the new year with no payments for 120 days. Choose from over 500 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way. GlennSmith.com. Get ready to smile.
The guy that would be my favorite, and I've said this time and time again, is A.J. Smith-Shawver, who is still somehow on the Braves' top prospect list, which is hard to believe just because he's been on multiple big-time stages. He's played in the postseason. This is a guy who has stuff, and the Braves know he has stuff. He's been given a lot of opportunities in the playoffs, a lot of time in the major leagues, and most importantly in the playoffs, which shows you that the Braves, out of all these guys that I've kind of mentioned already, have a lot of faith in him because they wouldn't just put anybody in that spot. They're going to pick the best chance they have at winning a game, of course, in the playoffs. And A.J. Smith-Shawver, at least as of last year and the year before, was probably that guy. Of course, last year he came up, he pitched one game, I want to say in about May. He got hurt, never saw him again, even after he was, in theory, healthy. I think given opportunities to grow, and this is one of those where you're competing for the fifth spot, and you can come out and not feel like, the world is crashing if you lose as opposed to the playoffs. Given some opportunity to grow, I think he could be very good. And when I say opportunity to grow, that means screwing up sometimes. But I think if you give that to him and if you give time put in at the major league level that's not the NLDS, I think he could be really successful. Of course, if he is indeed healthy. I think he could grow into having a similar level of success that Spencer Schwellenbach had this past year. I think that's fair to say. The open slot, though, gives him that opportunity where I think he'll show that he belongs. Time will tell, but that's what I think.
In 2025, we're hammering down high prices at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. New GMC Sierra 4x4 Crew Cabs, discounted up to $12,000 off. GMC Terrain with a roomy cabin and pro safety, discounted up to $7,000 off. Enjoy the new year with no payments for 120 days. Choose from over 500 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way. GlennSmith.com. Get ready ready to smile.
The other avenue here that you can go is Grant Holmes. Grant Holmes could take a starting role, and I've heard this chatter a lot over the offseason. I've been relatively quiet because I wanted to get a good feel of where things were. I've heard a lot of people talk about Grant Holmes getting in the starting rotation. I agree with it, and I disagree with it at the same time. I agree that he could start. I don't disagree with that at all. And I think in a fill-in role like we saw back in 24, he was great in that situation. Every 5 days, I have my questions. That said, I had my questions about Strider being a starter as opposed to a reliever. So that said, it's tough to really say in terms of can he do it? I think he can. The reason I don't think it'll happen on a permanent basis is the Braves right now, all in all, have some concerns at the bullpen too. Some that Grant Holmes is most likely being planned to help fill. I mean, you're losing Joe Jimenez. He's out for the year. The Braves have committed quite a bit to him financially. They're out $9 million with Joe Jimenez being absent this year. Jesse Chavez is a free agent. AJ Minter is out as well. He's exploring the free agent market. He could come back. He may end up in Texas. He may end up somewhere else. There's a lot of different ways that can go, of course. I've heard a lot about this Grant Holmes thing in the starting rotation. And look, he's got good stats. I mean, opponents average 250 on him as a starter, 40 strikeouts and 132 at-bats. I mean, those are good numbers as a starter. He's got similar numbers and better numbers as a reliever, of course. But I think he's better as a reliever, and I think he's going to be needed in the bullpen where he's experienced, especially if you don't get A.J. Minter back. If you do get A.J. Minter back, I still think he's in the pen, and I think they're going to rely on the guys that they've groomed to be starters in the minors, the A.J. Smith-Shalvers and Bryce Elders and that kind of thing. That would be my official statement, I guess. But, I mean, there is a world where I think Grant Holmes could fill in. But I think he's also capable of being long relief, something that Jesse Chavez thrives at. And, of course, if you lose Chavez, then Grant Holmes is kind of your go-to for that kind of thing. Not in a mop-up role, but in a close game, he can give you 2 or 3 innings, no problem, right? I think that's how you use him at his best. That said, in desperate times call for desperate measures. We'll see what happens, but I don't think Grant Holmes is going to be a starter on opening day or in the rotation on opening day or opening week. I just don't see it. This video has been presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC and Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.